Hello. Once again, we're back in it. Oh my goodness. Seeing everybody pull up in the chat slowly but surely. It's good to see everybody. I hope everybody's doing well. Rise up, stay grounded. Hey, yo. Bubba Gump in the building. Good to see you, my man. Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're doing well. Oh, man. Sometimes we just got to get in it on it. You know, you just got to get in on it. Sometimes you just got to do your thing. Let me check out the sound and make sure everything's working. Sometimes you just got to do your thing. Let me check out the sound and make sure. Oh. Even better. I don't have any sound on my headphones to be able to check this out. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to another Falcons Dub Monday. Norman Fitzgerald, good to see you. Lucas Strecker, Dexter Vlass, Woon Carter, Bubba Gump, good to see everybody in the chat. Hope you're all doing well. Carter, Bubba Gump. Let me see if this is working. Hello. Headphones something. Speakers, headphones. No, not that one. I don't think it's reading which device is available currently. It's just giving me a hard time. There, that should have done it. High definition audio device. There you go. Hey, fantastic. Mr. Irv got tea. Good to see you, my man. He back, baby. Hey, make sure you guys share this out to all your friends and family. All those Twitter verses and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Twitter verses and whatnot. Let's turn this B up. Let's turn it up. Up. How's that? Is that good? Too much? Victory Monday, everybody. Victory Monday, everybody in the chat. Let's go. Hey, Victory Monday. Been a long time since we've had some Victory Monday. You know what I'm saying? Hey, boys. So give me your flex in the chat, boys. Rise up. Stay grounded. Hope everybody's doing well. To all you coffee drinkers out there, welcome back. Oh, goodness. Drink some water. Make sure we're good. All right. Enough advice? Cool. Let's get into it. Bro. We did get the dub. Defense let us down in the early part. But we ended up getting the dub anyway. I'm just going to be straight with y'all. This is not ideal. I know everybody in the chat right now, and we're going to do this the way that we've been doing this. Welcome to Unintentional Grounding. My name is Lieutenant Dan. Welcome to a Falcons Victory Monday after beating who did we beat? Who did we end up beating? Who was the lame duck who took the L? Seattle. Oh yeah, that's right. Seattle took the L. If it was Russell Wilson, maybe they would have won that game. No shade thrown. And before we get into takes, before we get into everything, I'm going to say hi to all the peeps in the chat. So if you haven't already said hi in the chat, make sure you do. But before I really get into anything, I'm going to say hi to the peeps, and then I also just want to make this really quick note. This isn't going to last. This is a great moment to turn everything around. Week 3, week 4, week 5. That's where things start to kind of push forward. You know what I mean? Boogie 124 in the building. Mr. Ergati. Schedule is super tough. Barely won this. Just drinking that tea on that Seahawks. You knew they weren't going to beat us, right? But you know what? I don't care if it's barely won or barely lost, or we were tough in that game, but we weren't able to come out with a victory, or we had a huge lead, but then we lost that one. Nothing's disappointed me because I saw yesterday. I want to point this out really quickly. I saw yesterday the Matt Ryan that used to play with the Atlanta Falcons win a game as an Indianapolis Colt. I've watched him for 3 weeks now. And I ain't trying to get in that business because I got red zone. So those games, they flick to each highlight play or things that are going on, scoring drives, people in the red zone. But yesterday I was watching this Colts game, and I watched them play, and I'm like, it's not a good situation for Matt Ryan to be in. But if Matt Ryan can make things work in Atlanta, go on to the Colts, things struggle, and he's able to pull out a game like that, even though he does not look like that particular type of player. He doesn't look like that guy. I'm completely and honestly and openly with you guys saying that Marcus Mariota can work here in Atlanta. But I'm definitely not going to be one of the guys that's going to be supporting the Marcus Mariota train outside of him being the placeholder for Desmond Ridder. And I know a lot of people are already looking on to, quarterbacks in 2023, Eli Levis or whatever his name is from Kentucky. You got CJ, you got the kid out of Alabama. And I'm not even really paying attention to this particular class currently. I'm not even really looking at this class right now. But the way that I look at this team, I go, Marcus Mariota is no more than the placeholder if he's going to continue throwing interceptions, dropping the ball on the ground in times when we basically can close this thing out, and watch this team continue to fail in moments where we need them to be as stout and as composed as they possibly can be. You can't have composure if the entire system in which you're running is based off of whether or not a guy has the arm strength to do it or has the accuracy to do it. If one of the easiest things that any quarterback anywhere that you're trying to work on has to be like a major concern for you, like a Marcus Mariota not being able to fit the ball in tight spaces. He showed a couple of those instances in this game. But not being reliable, consistent to that nature. On a basic NFL level, on a basic knowledge level of this is what we need to succeed, a basic tool to succeed with this offense, basic decision-making, basic consistency. You are not a consistent person or a good comp for what you're trying to achieve if you're making these very, very obvious, very, very upfront and forward mistakes, like exchanges of the ball, reading down the field, throwing the ball in tight spaces. Yes, the offensive line, he was pressured multiple times yesterday. Yes, there were still parts of this offense that don't make any sense. Yes, there were opportunities missed in certain places. But when I look at the simple dynamics, the simple things that any other quarterback on any of the other 31 teams have to do to be able to be successful, and we're hinging this offense and how well it can go based off of those very, very, very minimal, low-level skills that you have to have, basic skills that you have to be able to make it work. And Marcus Mariota cannot provide you with those skills. It begins to make you think, how much longer until Desmond Ridder steps in and becomes the quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons? After watching that game yesterday against the Seattle Seahawks, getting a victory when the Seahawks were pushed up against, and I mean up against the farthest wall, because it wasn't even like it was like a 4th and 8. It was a 4th and 18. And Falcons fans basically all over Twitter, all over the internet, were all going, well, until the fat lady sings, we can't even. Yeah, you're right. We have been conditioned to that point where we don't even know if the game is settled until literally zeros and the stadium closes down, and all the people have already gotten their cars and gone back to their homes and already told their wives how they're doing and had their one night stand or got jiggy with it, and the pizza guy came and he already paid for the pizza, and you already woke up for work the next morning and you're clocking in, you're going to your job and you already ended your shift for the next day. That's when the Falcons have won. We've been conditioned to feel that. We've been conditioned to feel until a week later, when it's just impossible to take away this win away from the Atlanta Falcons, we haven't won the game yet. And that's what it felt like yesterday, where, yeah, we sealed the deal, but then Marcus Mariota fumbles the ball. Yeah, we sealed the deal when we intercepted the ball. They still have to kneel it down twice or three times. And I think a lot of people are in that mentality because of all the years and years and years and years and years and years of what I would call coaching mistreatment, system mistreatment that led into roster deficiency of Matt Ryan being here in Atlanta. If it wasn't Michael Vick and we just didn't have a team that necessarily fit what Vick was trying to do, and my wife made a really good point yesterday, and I think I'm going to share that here on the show. But if it wasn't the fact that we just didn't have a team that molded around a certain person, then it was that we were jumping from coach to coach to coach to coach to coach to coach. Because anybody that's successful that works in Atlanta obviously could be at least average to above average on another team, right? Am I right? Because, I mean, if you could turn this dumpster fire around, then you can definitely make anything work, right? And as I looked at it and saw what the Atlanta Falcons were trying to do and saw what the Atlanta Falcons were trying to perform over these last 3 weeks, I've said to myself, I don't think that Marcus Mariota is going to be the guy that's going to make this all just change and work, but it's great to see his effort. It's great to see that he can be a valued backup. It's great to see that he can actually work his tail off and be the best that he can possibly be. But I know that Desmond Ridder is going to end up taking this job. Desmond Ridder is going to end up not only taking this job, but also he's most likely going to be holding on to this job. And there isn't going to be anybody drafted as a replacement for him. You can tell that by the way that they're trying their hardest to keep Marcus Mariota in the games and go, as long as Marcus Mariota is doing okay, we don't have to play Desmond Ridder. We want to hold Ridder until the very last moment, because if they didn't care enough, if they didn't care that Marcus Mariota and Desmond Ridder were the package deal, this was it, then they would have already put Desmond Ridder out week 1 and gone, oh, if he's good, then we'll keep him around. If not, then we're looking for a quarterback next year. And you can obviously tell if they're taking the time and effort to care that Marcus Mariota gets the reps and this offense is running at its peak level before Desmond Ridder touches the floor in Atlanta. Then there's obviously enough time and care that they're going to put Desmond Ridder in only when it's exactly where they need to be. They're only going to put Desmond Ridder in there and start him when they exactly need him, because he'll be ready. So you can go ahead and take your notions of the Atlanta Falcons going after any other quarterback next year and go ahead and just put them in a box. You don't have to throw them away. Put them in a box, lock that box with a key, and put that on your top shelf. You don't have to think about that until February or March of next year if Desmond Ridder is not doing well. Remember that. I think we can go ahead and just put away that notion. There's no reason to talk about QBs in 2023 or even in 2022 until we see what Desmond Ridder is worth, because they're obviously taking the time and the effort to make Desmond Ridder work. Otherwise, they would have already played him out. They would have already put him out. They would have already played him. If Marcus Mariota over 3 games has lost 2 in terrible fashion, and one of them still doing the same mistakes from the last 2 weeks, those didn't just disappear. The same mistakes, the fumbling, the interceptions, the limited style of offense that we're able to play, even though it's still incredibly explosive and we're still scoring. Those mistakes have not disappeared. They have not been fixed. They are not done. And thusly, you still haven't seen Desmond Ridder take the field. It's not because Desmond Ridder's not good. It's because Desmond Ridder's not ready. And that's their final product. That's the final product that they want to put on the field. They want to put Desmond Ridder on the field. And it's obvious because they're taking the time to keep Marcus Mariota out there so that the offense of line and the weapons know exactly what they're doing. And the only excuse that the Atlanta Falcons will have that their team is not winning, and it will be the only excuse because they created that as the only excuse, is Marcus Mariota not playing at a high level. If Marcus Mariota is not playing at a high level, and we're still fumbling around halfway through this season, that's when you'll see Desmond Ridder take the stand. That's when you'll see Desmond Ridder be given the reins, the keys handed over to him. He's now in the car. He's driving now. Because they obviously want to take enough time. If Marcus Mariota can keep the ship going, they're going to keep Marcus Mariota in there because they don't want to reveal to the world what Desmond Ridder can or cannot do. That's the good and the bad. They want to make sure the perfect Desmond Ridder is out there. Not the Desmond Ridder that's been out there. He's played a couple games. He's banged up, and now he's scared. You look at a lot of quarterbacks over these last 4 to 5 years. How many of them have panned out? I'll ask chat. Everybody in chat. Of the rookie quarterbacks of the last 4 years, the last 4 draft classes, and you can go ahead and just take out this past draft class. Okay, 3 draft classes before this, 2021, 2020, and 2019. Those rookie QBs, how many of them are doing well? How many of them have been successful starting for their teams? Not many. Not many. Not many. Very, very few. Very few. Probably what? I guess you could call Tua a success, but I mean, Christopher Sanders says, no, Pantera says Hurts. Hurts is not bad. Burrow, I guess. There's a lot of work that still has to be done with all those guys. I mean, Hurts probably is the most successful story out of all of those guys, right? Lawrence still needs time under the current offense. We'll talk about him at some point. Lawrence does look better this year, but I don't think last year was really Lawrence's fault because we have a new offense, new system. Doug Peterson's putting out a fantastic offense for Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence looks fantastic in that offense. So we'll let that marinate. And Burrow, we'll have to let that marinate too, even though we already see him flinging rocks. We already see him doing well. But we'll let that marinate too because he needs an offensive line still to build a little bit, and they still got to get some chemistry in. And remember, he got hurt. And last year, like I said, last year, don't even count. Maybe don't even count that. For particular people, don't even count that. But I think Hurts, right? Hurts is probably the pinnacle. Burrow right behind that at some point, right? Because everybody else has been kind of I mean, how long ago was it that we actually got to see the one and only Mr. Bad Boy himself? How long has Josh Allen been in the league now? 4 years? 3 years? And he didn't even look good in his first year. But that's not the point. The point is how many rookie quarterbacks over these last couple of years have looked the part outside of being backups. How many Josh Rosens are out there? How many Josh Rosens have been drafted over these last couple of years? Last 5. Count it. Last 5. And the Falcons don't want to end up with that. You can tell they're taking the time, the patience, the care, And they're obviously not fooling around because they're out there trying to win games. We were competitive in the first game. We almost beat the Saints. We could have beaten them on a very, very long field goal. We got that blocked. Yes, there were other parts where we could have beaten them more soundly. But at the end of the day, special teams does their job and they're able to get that kickoff. Who knows? Who knows if Koo hits that long kick? What about the second game? What about the second game? What got away from us there? What got away from us? What could we have done better? I think we could have beaten the Rams. But the decision-making in that game and just the consistency of the offense and defense in that game were all over the place. And that's just been multiple weeks, right? Week 1, week 2, week 3, we've seen the same exact problems. Fumbleitis from the quarterback, fumbleitis from the team, unfortunate bad throws. And honestly, not being able to look over the entire field. So when I look at Marcus Mariota, I go, you are a placeholder if there ever was one in this league. You are a placeholder. And it's so obvious that I don't know if other teams are really taking the time and effort to do a lot of work on you. They're doing enough work to go, these are the tendencies that you do. But this is all in preparation for Desmond Ridder. This is not some forlorn prophecy that people are, Desmond Ridder will come save the day. This is a built team that is going to do great things for a Desmond Ridder. And they're taking the time and the effort and the attention to detail and care to get Desmond Ridder ready for when this offense is clicking and humming on its own. And then by next year, Desmond Ridder will have played quite a few games and will be ready for a 2023 campaign in which Desmond Ridder and the Atlanta Falcons might be really, really, really scary. What I see over 3 weeks, and I know it's only 3 weeks, but what I see over 3 weeks gives me a grin from ear to ear because when I look at the style of offense that they're playing, it asks for running backs to just do what they do. It asks for running backs just to do what they do. Cordero Patterson doesn't have to run 30 times a game, but this offense allows Cordero Patterson to run 30 times a game and just rip up the field. Now, if he can have a running mate like a Tyler Algier, Caleb Huntley, if he can have somebody that's behind him that does that same style of work, then you're looking at 2023 as a campaign for the Atlanta Falcons, not only to go into free agency and go spend some real money, but also to go into the 2023 NFL draft class and go, hey, we might lose a lot of games, but this is where we add the final pieces that make us kind of scary. Score Daryl. Pantera, good to see you, my man. Dexter Flash, Z, Mr. Herb got T, good to see you guys. Boy, Bangley. Good to see you, my man. But that's why I think where we're currently sitting and the way you looked over this team over the last 3 weeks, the same mistakes have not been fixed, but the offense is becoming more consistent. You're scoring 20-plus points a game every game consistently, but you're also consistently turning the ball over and making silly mistakes from the quarterback. It's only from one person. We're looking at the rest of the team and going, it's not that bad. The first 2 weeks, people were complaining, no, Kyle Pitts isn't getting the throws. Bro, Drake London is going to eat up Kyle Pitts' touchdown receptions is because Drake London does what Kyle Pitts does just as a better wide out, not as a better blocker. And Cordero is also doing some of that work as well. So if they're going to cover Pitts, if they're going to make it difficult to get to Pitts, it's going to be very, very difficult to be able to make those throws with a guy that does not throw the ball like that. Desmond Ridder does. Marcus Mariota does not. Then you're going to go to other options, and of course, they're forcing the ball to Zacchaeus. They're forcing the ball to Bryan Edwards. They're forcing the ball down the field. Having to force the ball to the field to Pitts But Drake London is eating up opportunities and showing you that Drake London is going to be really, really good. And the team of Drake London and Kyle Pitts is very, very hard to stop. I wonder how we're going to pay both of them. That's where my mind starts going. Wow, these guys are actually really good. Really good. Let me take a sip of coffee here. So when I look at this team, I go, it's pick your poison. What do you want to do? Cordero and the running backs just ripping it up, running down the field? Or do you want to hit Pitts or London down the field? And I just saw it, Mr. Irv got T in the chat just goes, what if you could sign Calvin Ridley and he's at the top of his game? Ooh, boy. Play him in the slot. Play him as the number 2. Play him as the number 1. Flick things around. Make things work. I think you could still add to this tight end group. and get another interesting tight end. But if you can get all your money aligned and you get the right people out there, this Falcons team becomes very, very, very scary. False start Falcon. Good to see you, my man. Rise up, stay ground. I hope you're doing well. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that notification button. Good to see you, buddy. But I look at this team and I go, there's not as much of an issue with the rest of the team. Defensively, offensively, special teams. There's little things that need to be fixed. But you can tell the same mistakes that happen in week 1 are the same mistakes that happen in week 2 are the same mistakes that happen in week 3. And I bet they're going to be the same mistakes in week 4, week 5, and week 6. Because Marcus Mariota, unfortunately, is going to be that same bit of mistakes over and over and over and over again. If the trend continues, Desmond Ridder will be thrusted into service, and hopefully it won't be too early. We're 3 weeks in, week 4 coming up, an opportunity here to potentially try to beat the Browns at home. You can make it 2-2 on the season, which would make every Falcons fan jump in joy and happiness, because 2-2 turns everybody's thought process around. Smith's been calling great games. This defense is definitely do or die on individual effort once again. So I am not going to get into this whole who's the next quarterback and who's the next guy. Go ahead and take all your thoughts on who's going to be the quarterback, who's going to be the guy, and throw that stuff into a box. Here's the box. Here's the box for you guys. Throw your quarterback stuff in the box. Go ahead. Throw it in. Go. Here, I'll keep it open for you. Go ahead. Throw it. Throw it in there. Good. You two in the back. I see you. Throw that in there. Throw it in there. It's like throwing your keys in when you're coming to the party. Throw it in. Good. Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? You? Okay. Close that box. Lock that box. Put that box up on the shelf up there. And don't ever bring up another quarterback from college again until we've ended this season. Let's find out whether or not they're taking the time, the effort. They're being very smart about keeping Desmond Ridder on a path of education and maturity, and then allowing him to get the best opportunity, because Marcus Mariota becomes the only issue that we have to erase. If Marcus Mariota keeps playing better, he starts simplifying some of these mistakes, minimizing them, then we'll have another discussion as we go that way. We'll have another discussion when we go that way. But until we have some sort of hint at what we're doing, we support what's going currently on. And Arthur Smith's running a great game. Should have won the Saints game. Possibly should have won that Rams game. Have come out victorious against the Seahawks. We got the Browns this coming week. And honestly, everybody in here, I think we can win it. This offense right here proves to me that we can win it. It finds openings. It's tough running. It's a very, 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 very good team. Incredibly good team. Got a very big test, though, because the Browns' defense is actually pretty good. Actually pretty good. One thing I want to touch on really quickly is Dean Pease's defense. I've touched on the Desmond Ridder and Marcus Mariota stuff, but I want to touch on Dean Pease's defense, and it is missing something. I can't put my finger on it. I want to just be like, that's the thing right there that they need to be able to make this work. And I have an idea of what would make this defense better. I don't know about everybody else in this chat. What do you think this defense needs? What do you think this defense needs? But I'm going to tell you something really quickly. I can't put my finger on the exact thing that this defense needs. But I can tell you two positions, that need an immediate upgrade right now. Blizz, good to see you, my man. Rise up, stay grounded. I hope you're doing well. But there's two things, and I think most common fans will make this answer. It's very, very simple. I think most fans will make this answer. But there is one position that not a single one of y'all wants to talk about. Not a single one of y'all wants to talk about. McMarty on fire. What's going on, my man? Rise up, stay ground. I hope you're doing well. Christopher Sanders, hope you're doing well as well. Rise up, stay grounded. If you haven't already said hi in the chat, please make sure you do. I promise I don't bite. Love to say hi to you guys. If you're just tuning in, thank you so much. Make sure you hit that like button, hit that notification bell. Let's try to see if we can get up to 20 likes, guys. But there's two positions that I know most Falcons fans are going to go, we need to upgrade that, and we need to upgrade that. But there's one position that I feel like, man, we need to take a high round pick and put it at this spot. We need a high round pick and put it at this spot. Now, if you're a rookie this year, or you're part of Dean Pease's year one clean out, and you made it from the fire sale from the first year, because man, that first year fire sale was wild. But there are two defensive positions that everybody's going to say: linebacker and nose tackle. Every Falcons fan is going to say we need a massive, huge, big, nasty trash can full of dirt, dumpster full of dirt, industrial dumpster full of dirt at that one tech zero. We need somebody there that can just absolutely eat up blocks, destroy pockets. And I agree. I think that's one of our top priorities this offseason. I think you got to find that guy. We have some guys right now, but you can tell the pressure is coming from the 3-tech spot, and you can tell some of our pressure with breaking up pockets is coming from our edges. You can tell that is actually working, and we are generating sacks from both of those positions. It's not as a consistent basis as people would want, and I believe that sacks are overrated. I like pressure that turns into interceptions, but that's just me. And the linebacker position has to be upgraded. I think we need a guy that can go in and we can have him go run and smash, man. Run and smash. Run and smash. Go have a guy that can actually go make a real impact. Now, if we turn out to be one of those 8-9 teams, 9-8 teams, then I can understand that. Where you don't get a Will Anderson, or you don't get one of those premier defensive linemen, or you don't get one of those premier guys and we go offensive line or something like that. I can get that. We don't have to talk about that right now. But linebacker and nose tackle are just immediate, oh yeah, we've got to upgrade these things. You could say defensive end, you could say outside linebacker, and you would probably be right. You'd probably be right to some degree. I think the work as a whole versus actually putting a star guy or like a top guy that's heavily drafted that has all these crazy techniques, I don't think we need that. We're creating the pressure, we're creating the sacks if we can have it on a more consistent basis by making the interior of the defensive line, that nose tackle position, a scary spot for teams to watch out for, and it creates more havoc and discord. Then we don't have to have our guys trying to bull rush every time from the corners and try to pinch this in. We could have interior pressure and make guys jump out and then end up getting sacked by our linebackers, by our defensive ends, by our outside linebackers. It's already working to that degree somewhat. And I think if we had more interior help at linebacker, and I think most agree, most of those guys would be able to clean up some of the issues that we're having as far as guys getting through and making major runs. We've had 20s and 30-yard runs on us, and it's because guys are just shooting the hole too quick or just not staying patient enough or don't have the athleticism or size to get guys out of their way. That's just the truth. You're not going to win every battle, but we definitely need an upgrade at that position. How do you upgrade that position in this coming draft? I'm not sure because most of the linebackers look mid. But let's not talk about the draft. Let's just talk about one other thing that I think that the Atlanta Falcons, whether it be free agency or it be, the draft or somebody they already have in this team that they're developing into something, but I'm just going to be truthful and faithful to everybody in here and say that we need another corner. If you don't believe that, if you don't believe that we need another corner, you're one of those people that believes in minimalism. That's fine. That's fine. I know there's plenty of people that are out there that most likely believe that we need to go after the best defensive end, edge, outside linebacker in this next draft class to have that number one true Superman. But I see A.J. Terrell out there struggle for 2 weeks and then come in this particular game and do so well. And then I look at the other side of the ball. I look at the other corners. And obviously we don't have Oliver and, there's other guys that are hurt that we could definitely be using right now. And I feel like corner needs to be addressed again. Pay A.J. Terrell because you're going to pay him. You're going to pay him. He's a very, very good corner. Pay A.J. Terrell because of what he can do. And then go get yourself another young stud. Whether that be in the second round, maybe that's the first round. Maybe that's the first round. I might be the first person to start banging the table for first round corner next year. We won't talk about that right now. But adding another big, burly corner, a guy that bullies somebody at the line, a guy that treats the number one or number two guy like they don't matter, is what we need to get onto this roster. Now, where can we go get that? Who can we go grab? Is this the last year of Isaiah Oliver? We only signed Casey Hayward to 1 year. So I look at those particular, reasonings and go, I feel like corner is going to be open to draft. The potential of grabbing another corner, a nose tackle, and a linebacker in this draft class, and maybe even a left guard potentially on how they're going to put things together. Free agency is also around the corner too, but listen, nose tackle's great. It'll definitely make our pass rush better. We're running this 3-4 and it's working and we're getting pressure and we're getting sacks. That's definitely happening. We're just not stopping the run like we need to. And I think what ends up happening is because we can't stop the run, then we put in a certain set of personnel, and then our corners cannot stop what's happening. East Coast Falcon, what's going on, my man? Rise up, stay ground. I hope you're doing well. But I look at this team, and I look at the deficiencies at certain areas, and I go, Dean Pease needs more corners. He needs more guys out there that can do more for him. I think safety, you're kind of going up and down. Linebacker, you currently have some guys that are working in progress. Maybe you go after a highly rated linebacker in the free agent period or in the draft. Somebody that works exactly for what you're trying to do. You're going to need to go grab some nose tackles. Plenty of those in this next draft class. 300-pound plus guys that are full of dirt in their trash can and go and move people. Yeah, I see plenty of those. But I think this team on defense definitely needs a corner to make that upgrade. And offensively, everything's working for the most part. It's just ironing out you're window dressing a lot, but ironing out some of those deficiencies, some of those consistent deficiencies by the by, and then making it so that either you've cleaned up Marcus Mariota's act or Marcus Mariota is the only issue and everything else is humming. Will give you an idea of whether or not Desmond Ridder is going to be your starter, and then getting him acclimated to what you're doing and starting to run that at full speed will be another test. But at least you'll know you're giving Desmond Ridder the best of the best of the best opportunities to shine. And those are the two things that I saw from this past game. I won't even talk about highlights. I won't even talk about this play made me go ooh or ah, or this disappointed me or that disappointed me. I'm just going to straight up tell you guys, this group right here is enough to make teams like New Orleans and the Rams and just now, the Seahawks go. Every single one of those teams going, we could have all lost to the Atlanta Falcons, and one of them did. The Saints could have lost to us. They could be, 1-3, 1-2. And we could have beaten the Rams. We didn't, and I'm not going to keep pulling off that scab or that Band-Aid for you guys, but I'm going to just remind you that both of those times came down to Marcus Mariota making mistakes. Am I going to blame Marcus Mariota for every single detail? No. But you can tell Marcus Mariota is not the guy that's going to be throwing in tight spaces, not the guy that's going to be throwing in places where it's contested, and is going to make these silly mistakes every once in a while. So it's tough for anyone who's a Falcons fan that look at this and go, yes, the Falcons are a good enough team that a Desmond Ridder can start. They're not there yet. But Desmond Ridder is going to potentially get that opportunity. And like I said earlier, if they did not care and they were going after CJ Stroud, or they were going after Bryce Young, or they were going after Levis, or they were going after any of these other dudes, you know who would be starting right now? Desmond Ridder would be starting, because they would want to know, is a third-round pick, this investment, worth our time? We need to know now. Obviously, they want to take their time and develop and invest time in this and allow Desmond Ridder to get his opportunity, who is the more prolific passer out of the two. So, with that all being said, we look onto the Browns. The Browns are the next test. No Deshaun Watson, a team that basically made the Steelers score like literally no points, and then suddenly all the points. I just feel like the Browns are going to be a tough ask for us, because they just don't match up well with us. They don't. But it will be at home in front of our own crowd. Hopefully that place is packed out, and maybe we get that dub. Going to open up for a few questions for the next, let's call it 13 minutes. If you guys have something that you guys would like to discuss, anything that you guys would like to say, whether that be on the Twitch or on the YouTube, please go ahead and throw in your questions now, or something that you would like to just bring to light. And I will go down the chat here, and I will answer some of those things. So go ahead and just start blasting those away. Take a sip of coffee, and then we'll get into right after Christopher Sanders' question of who is set to be a FA next year, because that's a whole mess, and you got to see who's unhappy and who gets paid, and there's still, the trading deadline, and there's a lot going on there. So here we go. Let's drink this. Chris Edwards, what's going on, man? Okay, so McGarry gonna get paid. I could see McGarry hanging around. Definitely could see that. And on two different sides of the coin too. One, because they don't want to spend the premium money because they're going to use it on other positions. to be able to fill gaps and get impact players at those positions. But also, number two, because they're not going to want to go into the draft and spend a first, second, or third round pick on a right tackle and have to relearn everything if McGarry shows that level of consistency and growth in this year. Even if it's just a little bit, if you show that growth and that maturity and you're getting better every single game, then suddenly, McGarry gets paid a little contract and stays. Stopping Nick Chubb is going to be a true test. Absolutely. What do you think of Bryan Edwards? I'm not fond of him. I would like to see Bryan Edwards used more in that third or fourth position. However, I just don't see any room for Bryan Edwards because all of the balls are going to Pitts and London and Zacchaeus and Patterson. And if you go look at all the statistics from the last couple of games, he's just not getting that play time. He's just not. So this offense spreads the ball around, but it has 4 or 5 guys that are taking up the top of the targets anyway. It's kind of already set. That's why I struggle with saying Calvin Ridley comes back. What does that do for you? Because I don't know if Calvin Ridley coming back will equal more targets to Calvin Ridley and make this offense deadlier. I think it hinders the offense because, yes, Calvin could get open and he could be really, really scary, but that would also limit the ability to get it to Pitts or to London. It's just a double-edged sword because it could work, but you're going to have to spend a lot of money, and he's getting older. So that's tough for me. But Bryan Edwards, I don't see anything outside. I mean, not that Bryan Edwards is not welcome here, but I just don't think he works for what we're trying to do. We'd be better off with another really good pass-catching tight end who has some blocking. So I'd be a little happier there. Where do you see the Falcons spending most of their $100 million, offense or defense? I think it's going to get spread around, but if you had to be like, where's the most of it going to be spread? Probably offensively. There will probably be a couple of offensive linemen picked up. Do you think we keep Ridley next? And if we do, does he become the second wide receiver or move to slot? I think you move them around because Pitts, London, and a Calvin could move everywhere around the field, and you just play them wherever they want to be. You just play them wherever you think you can, because you're going to be doing a lot of window dressing anyway, and this is a running offense. This is still a running offense, which does not play into Calvin Ridley's hands, because Calvin Ridley is more of an air raid offense kind of guy. He would do better in a West Coast running scheme like San Francisco versus what we're trying to do here, which is like pistol read option, and it just doesn't translate well. However, and again, to be in this offense, you're going to have to learn how to block. Well, he's not blocking very well. He's never blocked very well. Calvin's always been one of those hands-off kind of guys. He doesn't even get hit. So it's hard for me to be like, Calvin Ridley, he's going to be the guy. Would I like Calvin back? Absolutely, because I would put him all over the field. But I need to see Desmond Ridder and whether or not he can be able to make those kinds of throws, because he's going to, if you bring Calvin Ridley back, you're saying that this team is ready to take a step that I see still 2 years away. Wide receivers are expensive. $11 million for Calvin is a steal. If you could get him at that price. He replaces Zacchaeus, which would be an upgrade. I'd be down. Who's impressed you more, Adebike or Richie Grant? Richie has kinda impressed me. Adebike, it's hard to say has a year 2, year 3 safety. impressed you more than a first-year rookie's only played 3 weeks? I guess I would say Richie Grant, just because Richie has had more time to develop and showing that developmental adjustment. Whereas I can never say his name. AK-47 is looking really good, but there's still so much that he needs to learn. I saw Vita Vea drop into coverage yesterday in the Bucks game and cause a fumble in the end zone. And I thought it was the funniest thing, because I was like, see, I don't think you have to. You want to stop people from throwing? Depending on what kind of quarterback you're playing with, I think you could drop all 11 guys into coverage if you wanted to and just keep everybody around about that 10-yard mark for a first down. And if you can cover like that, you can cover like that. Memphis 10 Keys. What's going on, man? Why can't we connect on the deep balls? Because it's been open. Like I explained earlier, and I don't know if you just got in or not, but like I explained earlier, I don't think Marcus Mariota is the passer that we're looking for, but he's definitely the guy that can utilize the running bit of it. And because of that, it adds a dimension to our offense that keeps teams still guessing and makes Cordero Patterson very, very strong. But he's not going to be able to throw in tight spaces, and he hasn't been able to connect on the deepest balls like we've wanted to. Now, that doesn't mean that he hasn't connected on deep balls. He has. But the problem is that Marcus Mariota isn't that accurate passer that you want him to be. He's not going to throw it in tight spaces or go and throw it in the right place on a jump ball. Unfortunately for Marcus Mariota, and you look at the passes that he's connected on, especially like our touchdowns, and the ball's like barely getting there. Marcus right now is a serviceable backup to run a very specific style of offense, and Desmond Ridder will most likely be the guy that gets that opportunity to show out and show up. All right, guys. That is the end of the questions. I'm going to cut it off here. Before we get going, I owe you guys a video. I had a little mental health week last week. Things were just so busy. And then, of course, we have a hurricane coming towards Florida. So if I can work from home this week, maybe that Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever the hurricane's supposed to hit land or turn or wherever it's supposed to be, and we still have internet, and we still have electricity, but we're just being told to stay home because of the hurricane, then we will do some streaming and we'll do some stuff here. And I will put out 2 videos. I'll put out last week's video for Drake London, and then I'll put this week's video for Drake London. And we will have that. We'll have both of those videos out for you. I'm a little behind just because of things that are happening in my life, so we're trying to make it work. We're going to get off of here and restart the stream on Twitch if you guys want to watch us play some Apex Legends, as well as talk about some Atlanta Falcons football and things that I've been thinking about and things that I'm like, maybe if you upgrade this or do that or whatever. Come join us over there at UNGR_show on Twitter and on Instagram. You'll see us at twitch.tv/gamingwith_LTDan. We will be live over there. If you're not already there, if you're there right now, the stream is going to end. And then you'll have to refresh the page a couple of times because the new stream won't pop up until you refresh the page. But we will be getting off of the YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, we're trying to build to 5,000 subscribers here on YouTube. Please help these awesome content creators out. A subscription is free. You don't pay anything for it. You get notified of all of our good videos that come out. And we'll have those 2 film breakdown videos for you guys very, very soon with new covers. Got to play the Browns this coming week, and I've got to check out my fantasy scores. I think I'm gonna be 1-2 in my current league, but then in my dynasty league, I think I'm going to be 3-0. The dynasty league's been working out for me, but all right, guys, peace, hair grease, and we'll talk to you guys a little bit later. And remember, as always, God loves you guys. Continue to support yourselves, your spouses, your family members. Continue to pray for them. Drink a lot of water. Exercise once a day and just see a little pool of sweat pile up. Where whatever you do, no matter what you do, sweat a shirt out. Get some good exercise. We all need it. And make sure that you guys are going out and just loving on people and just supporting everybody that's around you so that they can continue to live wonderful lives and have wonderful memories. Peace, hair grease, and we'll talk to you guys later this week.